Good day, everyone. I'm Shaira Lee, and I'm the second to the last presenter from the group who was assigned to discuss the signs and symbols. So, let's start. Okay, let's start.
Signs and symbols. So, as you can see, there's a no overtaking sign, no right turn sign, horn sign, a dashboard, blue bag, which stands for battery, light, oil, water, brakes, air, and gas. So, yan yung pag-uusapan natin for today's video. I will discuss them one by one later for you to comprehend and familiarize those different signs and symbols. Let's have first the analyzation of signs, symbols, and data. Automotive servicing doesn't end on finishing the job in an auto repair shop. When necessary, a road test is performed to conduct a closer observation on a vehicle. To do this, the one who performs the job must be knowledgeable in driving, a holder of a driver's license, and knows by heart the meaning of different traffic signs and symbols. So, the job in an auto repair shop is not the end of automotive servicing, but there's a road test to be performed to ensure the vehicle is fixed. However, road test depends on the repairs that are made. If they just put a headlamp in and it now works, no test drive is needed. But if a major component was repaired or replaced, such as an engine or transmission, then you do need to see how it performs after by road testing. So the person who will do the road testing must be knowledgeable enough in driving because having knowledge of road safety can prevent many of the dangers of the road and make the road safer for everyone. Then have a driver's license also. And most especially, he or she knows the meaning of various traffic signs and symbols to prevent violations. Traffic signs not just provide information but guide and keep safe the motorist and the community from the accident. So traffic signs do not just provide valuable information to the drivers and other road users, but also it guide and keep them safe from any accidents and make the road safer for everyone in the community. So before we go into every traffic sign, let's have a quick review of its importance. Why do we have to go through each of them in the first place? Well, traffic signs are there to serve as a warning to all road users to ensure they are safe from potential driving hazards and situations. They also help regulate the flow of traffic among vehicles, as well as other road users, pedestrians, and cyclists, for example. So now let me discuss the common traffic signs one by one. First, we have the regulatory mandatory signs. Mandatory signs are recognizable by a white sign surrounded by a blue circular background. Mandatory signs are traffic signs that specify the responsibilities of all road users using a given section of the road. These are the signs that instruct the road users on what it must do rather than what it must avoid. So we have the turn right sign. This sign indicates that all drivers must turn right because other directions are not allowed. This sign helps the driver to drive accordingly and reduces the chance of an accident due to sudden turn. Next is the turn left sign. This traffic sign is the same as turn right, only now it's turn left. Next is the keep left sign. This one means you should keep left. Then This sign usually seen in areas where a divided median begins or especially in construction areas. Then another is the ahead only sign. This sign indicates that the vehicle is only permitted to proceed ahead. You're not allowed to keep left or to oh no, you're not allowed to turn right or turn left. So that's the ahead only sign. And the last is the keep right sign. This sign is the same as keep left, only now it's right. So that's all the mandatory signs. Let's come now to the regulatory prohibition signs. So the prohibition signs indicate that a specific action is restricted. They denote acts that are not permitted on the road. They have a red border and a white background. A black symbol is drawn in the middle of the sign, which crossed by a red colored line. First, we have the no entry sign. This no entry sign reminds road users that they are unable to use this entrance. The sign is ideal for car parks, industrial estates, and private land. Next is the no stopping sign. This no stopping sign is usually found on roads where it is not a particularly safe spot to be stopping, such as a bridge, near a hill or curve, or on the highway. Next is the no left turn sign. This sign is used to indicate a street that you can't turn left onto. This sign is most often seen in downtown areas. Next is the no parking sign. If you see a no parking sign, that means you cannot park your vehicle in the area designated by the sign. But if you are somewhere next to a no parking sign, you could still stop your vehicle to load or unload passengers. Next is the no U-turn sign. This sign indicates that U-turn is not allowed in an area where this sign is posted. Typically, it is because the area has too much traffic. Next is the speed limit sign. This sign is erected at the beginning of the section of the road or area covered by a speed restriction with numerals indicating the speed limit in kilometers per hour. The marking or figure in the speed limit sign is in kilometer per hour. Next is the no overtaking sign. This sign is erected at the beginning of such sections of highways where sight distance is restricted and overtaking will be dangerous. Next is the no right turn sign. This sign is used to indicate a street that you can turn right onto, the same as no left turn, but this time you can turn right. Next is the horn sign. This sign is mostly seen in the hospitals and in silent zones where the sounding of a horn is not allowed. So meaning, bawal ka dun magbusina or mag-beep-beep. So, that's the horn sign. And the last prohibition sign is the motorcycle prohibited sign. This sign is used at places where entry to all types of motor vehicles is prohibited. Let's come now to the warning sign. Warning signs are used to advise highway, street, and road users to unexpected or dangerous conditions ahead that may necessitate a speed reduction, situations that are not always obvious. They usually have a white triangular backdrop with black symbols or letters with red borders, or black symbols in the shape of a yellow diamond. First, we have the bend warning sign. Bend warning signs inform drivers there that there's a sharp bend ahead. When the severity of the bend is not immediately apparent to the driver, this is necessary. These signs should encourage drivers to slow down so that they may safely go around the bend. Then next is the T-junction ahead. The T-junction the T-junction ahead sign indicates that the end of the present road and the right or left turn. The direction the thicker line points indicates the right of way. When the graphic points right, the warning sign with the thicker arrow pointing left recommends priority turning left into the junction. Next is the traffic signal ahead. This sign alerts drivers to a set of traffic control signals farther down the road that they are failing to detect in time to respond safely. Next is the junction ahead sign. This warning sign indicates the driver is approaching an area where a side road intersects with the highway. So the drivers should be cautious of cars entering or exiting the highway ahead. Another is the uneven road sign. The uneven road sign is intended to warn drivers about damage to the road surface that could cause them to lose control if they were to hit it at the normal speed limit. Typically, you'll see these signs on older roads. The uneven road sign looks quite similar to both the road hump and hump bridge warning signs at a distance. So, give them a good look when getting closer to the sign. Next is the series of bends. This sign denotes a potentially hazardous or unexpected series of bend on the road ahead. Slow down as the road curves sharply to the right, then to the left. Remember to brake gently, especially if the road is wet. Next is the quarry side ahead. This sign advises drivers that they are approaching the end of the road, which is either the quarry side or the river side, and they may not be able to see the edge. Next is the steep hill upward. This implies that the road is about to take a greater climb. As you can see on the sign, the incline is 20%, but this number may alter depending on how steep the hill is. When drivers or road users met this sign, they should prepare to accelerate to maintain their speed. Next is the slippery road sign. Slippery road signs are placed in areas where there is a risk of slipping. When the road is wet or icy, drivers should use extra caution and reduce their speed. Then, when the weather is bad, drivers should avoid making any rapid changes in direction. Next is the children ahead sign. This sign alerts drivers to the possibility of children on the road, allowing them to begin slowing down. This sign is commonly seen near schools, playgrounds, parks, and other locations where children are known to be present. Next is the pedestrian sign. Pedestrian signs warn drivers ahead of time when there will be a lot of pedestrian traffic so they can prepare to slow down or stop. Drivers should be cautious when approaching this sign to avoid an accident. Next is the crossroad ahead sign. The crossroad ahead sign is used to warn motorists of the presence of a four-way intersection and the possibility of turning or entering traffic. When you encounter this sign, you should be alert since this place is prone to accidents. You should watch your way, left side and right side, and don't forget to slow down. Next is the sharp curve sign. The road will make a sharp turn to the left, so when you see this sign, you should slow your speed, keep to the left, and do not pass other vehicles. Next is the merging traffic sign. The merge sign is a warning sign that informs drivers that two separate roadways will merge into one lane ahead of them. In most cases, the merging traffic sign will indicate which lane should merge into the other. Drivers on the main highway should be aware of merging vehicles. Merging vehicles must yield to traffic on the main highway. And lastly is the tunnel ahead sign. The tunnel sign serves as a warning to drivers that a tunnel is approaching on the road they are on. This warning sign will be positioned at the right distance before a tunnel, and it is designed to inform drivers of changes in driving conditions. So, yan yung warning signs. Let's proceed now to the priority signs. Priority traffic signs indicate the order in which vehicles should pass intersection points. Vehicles often come into conflict with other vehicles and pedestrians because their intended courses of travel intersect and thus interfere with each other's route. So we have the yield or give way sign, stop sign, priority on oncoming sign, and priority for oncoming sign. So let's have first the yield or give way sign. In road transport, a yield or give way sign indicates that merging drivers must prepare to stop if necessary to let a driver on another approach proceed. A driver who stops or slows down to let another vehicle through has yielded the right of way to that vehicle. Next is the stop sign. Stop sign. When drivers see this sign, they must slow down and prepare to stop. Where to stop? Drivers should stop at the stop line if it is marked on the pavement, but if the stop line is not available, then drivers can stop at the crosswalk. But if the crosswalk is not also available, drivers can stop at the edge of the intersection. Drivers can only proceed when the way is clear and it is safe to do so. Next is the priority on oncoming sign. Priority on the traffic flow in the direction of the black arrow, drivers are given the right of way, while in the direction that is indicated by the red arrow, drivers must yield. So this is the red, this is the black arrow, and this is the red arrow. And the last priority sign is the priority for oncoming sign. So the white arrow direction has the right of way or has priority over the red arrow. Red arrow direction in terms of traffic flow. Let's have now the service sign. Service signs. Service signs provides road users with generic information about facilities and services that are available along the roadway. First, we have the wait. Information, facilities, or service signs are signs that use white symbol on blue or green rectangular background. So, yan yung symbol ng service signs. So, first is the parking sign. This service sign tells driver they can park their vehicles. Many parking area are free but some have the time limits, require a permit, and others will need to be paid for same way specify a particular type of vehicles only. Second is the port sign. The main purpose of this sign is to give direction to the drivers of buses or any vehicle that cruises the sea. The third one is the hospital sign. The hospital sign's purpose is to urge or direct motorists who require immediate emergency medical assistance away from the state roadway toward the nearest emergency medical facility. And the last is the home zone sign. This sign was created to make drivers think twice about driving carelessly or without sufficient caution. This is to warn them to slow down since the home zone is a crowded place. So that's all in service signs. Let's proceed now to the dashboard symbols. The dashboard, particularly the instrument panel, represents the easiest way a vehicle talks back to its driver, allowing him to stay up to date with the status of the car and provide him with prior notice on potential mechanical problems. So, through the dashboard, the driver communicates with the vehicle. Its main function is to inform about the main indicators while driving: the fuel level and consumption, speed, engine speed, battery charge, and more. As a rule, it is located directly in front of the driver, just below eye level. So, we have the different dashboard symbols. So first is the front airbag. The airbag warning light on your dashboard will illuminate or flash to warn you. This light indicates that your airbags have been deactivated. If you get into an accident, that indicates they won't deploy properly. So you'll need to get a professional to inspect the airbags. Next is the fog beams indicator. This fog beams indicator will be activated and will stay on if the driver turns on the fog beams. If it's foggy outside, turn on your fog beams to improve your visibility. However, once the weather has cleared, many drivers fail to switch them off. Fog lights, like any other light bulb, have a limited lifespan, and leaving them on for too long will quickly burn them out, and next time it's foggy, your fog lights may not be functional, so don't forget to turn it off. Next is the battery warning. A battery warning in a dashboard indicates that there's a problem with the battery charging. Your car's battery is not providing enough voltage for it to function or to run correctly. If this warning light is illuminated, you should only use the essential accessories such as the headlights and wipers to prevent your car's battery from being drained. Next is the emergency indicator. The notification is activated once the driver pushes the emergency button. So the emergency indicator will be activated once the driver presses the emergency button. Next is the powertrain malfunction. If on, this light shows that the powertrain has been damaged and the car needs to be serviced as soon as possible. In the case of powertrain malfunction, a vehicle will activate the powertrain warning light or lamp when a vehicle is experiencing a concerning power-related condition. So you should be taking this seriously, because if the vehicle is continually driving with the concerning condition, chances are that there will be damage done to the engine, transmission, and drivetrain. Next is the ABS warning light or the ABS warning light. It is turned on every time there's something wrong with the anti-lock brake system. Note that the ABS symbol is activated once the driver starts the engine, but it's automatically turned off after a few seconds. So the ABS light should come on briefly every time you start your car as part of a system check. But if the light remains on, that means something may have taken off wrong with your system or is not working, and you need to get it checked out as soon as possible to prevent the wheels from locking up when a driver slams on the pedal brake pedal in an emergency or on a wet or slippery surface. So that's the ABS warning light. Next is the low fuel notification. What does the low fuel notification mean? The purpose of notification is to warn drivers of low fuel levels. When the light turns on, there will be some fuel in the tank, but not that much. If this light comes on while you're traveling, you should try to find a gas station as quickly as possible, because running out of fuel can leave you stranded or cause a crash on the road, and can also damage expensive auto parts. Next is the seatbelt reminder. When the seatbelt reminder sensor detects that you or your passenger is seated in the car seat without the seatbelt fastened securely, the seatbelt reminder indicator symbol will normally appear on your dashboard. Next is the brake system alert. The dashboard light that indicates a brake system problem is an alarming red color depending on the car type, to indicate that there's a serious risk. Some drivers wonder if driving with this brake light on is safe. No, it should never be overlooked. The warning lights on the brake system indicate that there's an immediate danger and or a problem that could compromise driver and vehicle safety. So next is the tire pressure monitor. The warning is turned on in case of low tire pressure, which could raise the fuel consumption or affect the grip. So the tire pressure monitor is designed to warn you when your tire pressure is too low, which could result in dangerous driving conditions, lalo na when 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 you are in the long run. If the indicator is on, your tires may be underinflated, which can result in excessive tire wear and possible tire failure. Next is the open doors indicator. The open doors indicator light illuminates after the driver starts the engine to warn him that one or more doors have not been properly closed. For quite some time, cars have had door switches installed. When the car's computer detects that one of the doors is not completely closed, it alerts the driver. So the door switches that are being installed become their precautionary measure to keep any doors from opening while they're driving. The next is the temperature warning light. This temperature warning light means that your engine is running at a temperature that is too high. In other words, your engine is overheating. It advised the driver to stop the vehicle kasi once you neglect this warn serious damage can occur and you may end up with an engine failure, so you better stop at palamigin muna yung sasakyan bago magpatuloy sa pagmamaneho. Next is the high beam light. The high beam symbol is a blue symbol with 5 horizontal lines vertically stuck to the left of a shape that resembles a headlight. This will light on only when the driver activates it. So, kailan ba ito ginagamit at di ginagamit ng mga drivers? They use it in any situation when they can't properly see the road in front of them, but if the driver approaching other vehicle on the road, they must dim their high beam lights because there's a risk of blinding other drivers with their lights. And then the situation when the driver should not use their high beam light is in heavy fogs and heavy rains. Then once the high beams have been turned off, this symbol will turn off as well. But some high beam indicators remains on because of several common reasons like the malfunctioning of high beam switch or high beam bulbs are not properly connected. Then if you find that your high beams are not working, there are several common reasons also for this to happen like a blown bulb, blown fuse, faulty wiring, and malfunctioning high beam relay. So if your car is experiencing any of these issues, you should take your car to a mechanic who will be able to properly diagnose and correct the issue. Next is the oil pressure warning. The oil pressure light is used to show up on your dashboard if the oil pressure in your car is too low or too high, but usually it's because of a low level of oil. This warning light is not something that should light up very often. However, if it does, you should stop driving immediately. If you're driving along and your oil warning light comes on, take it very seriously because this indicates that your car may be unsafe to drive. Your auto's engine has lost oil pressure or the oil level is too low. So as soon as the warning light illuminates, pull aside and turn off the engine. This will assure your safety as well as help prevent engine damage. Ano rin ano rin para para maiwasan itong oil pressure light from illuminating and to help keep your engine running smoothly right away. Make sure your vehicle receives a maintenance tulad ng regularly scheduled oil changes. And then the last one is the turn signals. Surely the most known instrument panels, the turn signals are activated once the driver changes direction and uses the signal lever. So the turn signal light in the dashboard will be activated once the driver turns the car from one road onto another, or into a driveway or parking lot. You use your turn signal. So now let's move on to electrical symbols. An electronic symbol is a pictogram used to represent various electrical and electronic devices or functions such as wires, batteries, resistors, and transistors in a schematic diagram of an electrical or electronic circuit. So first we have the battery symbol. Batteries are represented on a schematic with a pair of disproportionate lines. The longer line indicates the positive plate and the shorter line indicates the negative plate. Then the number of lines indicates the number of series cells in the battery. Next is the ground symbol. The electrical connection to the vehicle's metal body or frame is represented by the ground symbol. The negative battery cable is then linked to the vehicle's body or frame through the negative battery terminal. Next is the fuse. Fuse is a current interrupting device. When an excessive current flows in a circuit, the fuse elements will melt to break the circuit. Fuses are most suitable to protect the devices or circuits from overload faults than short circuit faults. The fuse was the only one best protective device and was used in most of the electrical and electronic circuits. Next is the bulb symbol. The bulb or light bulb symbol can represent any type of light bulb, headlight, tail light, etc. So any type of light bulb like headlight, tail light, etc. can be represented by the bulb or light bulb symbol which generates light when current flows through. Next is the male-female symbol. Connector. This symbol represents a male-female connector. So this arrow are the male connector and this Y letter is the female connector. So, like for example, the charger and the cell phone. Yung pin ng charger serve as a male connector, then yung butas sa cellphone na pinaglalagyan ng pin ng charger ay nagsiserve as a female connector. So, yun. The female connector is generally a receptacle that receives and holds the male connector. If it is one piece multiple wire connector harness, the connectors will be surrounded by a box. So, yung one piece with multiple wires connector ay yung pin, tapos yung butas naman sa cellphone ay yan yung pinaka-box na nagso-surround ng connector. Then, crossed wires connected and not connected. So, how can you say whether the crossed wires are connected or not connected? If there's a dot at the intersection, this one, this. So, if there's a dot at the intersection of wires, which is a permanent connection point or splice, meaning the crossed wires are connected. So, in other words, if there's no dot at the intersection of the lines, then those wires are not connected. So, yun yung pagkakaiba nila. Next is the resistor. A fixed resistor is an electrical device that used to reduce or control current flow within a circuit. It is made from materials like copper or carbon, which make it difficult for the electrical charges to flow through a circuit. Next is the motor. Motor is an electrical device that converts electrical energy to mechanical energy in a rotary motion. So in rotating motion, a motor transforms electrical energy to mechanical energy. Next is the horn. A horn is an electrical device that produces sound by converting electrical energy. And the last is the relay. A relay is an electrically operated switch. Current flowing through the coil of the relay creates a magnetic field which attracts a lever and changes the switch contacts. The coil current can be on or off, so relays have two switch positions and most have double through changeover switch contacts. So, yun. So, that's all. So, yan lahat yung electrical symbols.
So that's the end of my presentation. Hope you learned something today, something that can apply outside school. Thank you!